Paid forward networking is something that I was blessed to have learned when I started out in the recruiting career or recruiting field. When I worked in an agency, I had a former boss of mine who basically instilled this in me. And once I learned how to put it into practice, and it's not something that we're all recruiters and we all think we know how to network. But when it comes to networking, it's like working out, right? If you don't take the time to exercise your muscles, you're not going to be, the next, I don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger or whoever is, I don't know, whoever the strongest person in the world is. But by taking little baby steps and applying it and doing it every day, it's going to help you moving forward. So, about myself, I'm based in the greater Chicago area. I've been in the recruiting and sourcing space for over 20 years. I've worked in agency, corporate, and as a consultant, and typically specialize in roles that are challenging and, executive level down through individual contributor. Based in the greater Chicago area. And my free time, I like to learn something new every day. Enjoy traveling, new experiences, people, cuisine, and helping others grow and develop their recruiting and sourcing skills. So as many others have mentioned in the chat, what keeps me in this field is I love helping people. And while it might drain some people, it's I guess part of who I am. So anyway, so paying it forward. So what does that mean? So paying it forward is is about building meaningful and reciprocal connections by helping others without expecting immediate returns. It creates goodwill and often leads to strong, lasting professional relationships. And here are three important aspects of that. Generosity without immediate expectation, building trust and credibility, and creating long-term relationships. There we go. So generosity without immediate expectations. So the core of paying it forward is offering to help, advise, and provide resources without the expectation of getting something in return right away. It's about selflessly contributing to someone's success, trusting that through the act of generosity will come back to you in other forms over time. So how to put it into practice? So here's an example. So suppose that you come across a job opportunity that isn't a good fit for you, or might be a good fit for you. But you might know someone who might be perfect for it, or that also might be perfect for it. Share the opportunity with that person, introduce them to the hiring manager, give them insights on how to approach the role. I started sharing TA job leads lists that I initially found for my own job search at that time, and then immediate former colleagues. And then pretty soon the whole industry was exploding with layoffs. So I started sharing it to try to help as many people as possible using my skills and giftings with a sourcing background. Another example is you might meet someone at a networking event who's new to the industry. So offer to connect with them with people in your network and share relevant resources to help them grow. And it doesn't matter if it affects you directly, just know that you're giving to our industry and it'll come back to you in different ways. And I've seen this happen in many instances because, again, I've been here in recruiting for the TA space for 20 plus years. And I've worked with a lot of amazingly talented people who at that time were, earlier on in their career, and through investing with them and, sharing and leads and helping them however I could, investing in their success, I've been able to know that I've contributed to helping them grow. And it's a very heartwarming feeling to be able to do that. So the second part is building trust and credibility by consistently offering value and showing that you're genuinely interested in helping others. You build a reputation for being trustworthy and reliable, and over time, people will associate you with someone who is worth knowing and supporting, and creating a network that's more likely to help you when you need it. So how do you put that into practice? So here's an example. So after you help a colleague solve a problem, follow up to see how things are going. This shows that you're invested in their success and strengthens your relationship. And don't do it out of like thinking, oh, it's a strategy. It's got to be genuine, right? Like if you're not a people person, you don't care about people, it's going to come off as fake And that's not what this is about. This is about being real and being human. Another example is sharing your expertise openly. So if you're skilled in a particular field, offer to give advice and mentorship to people who are just starting out without worrying about compensation. So as Austin mentioned, Trent Cotton helped him with time management. And that's a perfect example of what this is talking about. Creating long-term relationships. So paying it forward encourages building long-term mutually beneficial relationships rather than transactional interactions. And it focuses on growing a strong network over time. This can lead to unexpected opportunities, referrals, and partnerships. And in economies like this, where so many folks, so many amazingly talented people are out of work, your network is where most of the leads are likely going to come from. So if you're only applying to jobs and not networking, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities that may never be posted. So how do you put this into practice? If you see someone in your network struggling to get visibility, like today, so if you know people that you've worked with that are amazingly talented and earlier on in their careers, help them get visibility by sharing and introducing them to people in your network and circles, sharing their content on your platforms, and this can help increase their reach and visibility. So perfect example of this, Dan has given you the opportunity to present at the next upcoming FRBR. If you haven't done this before, this is a perfect platform to do that through. And also, it doesn't matter if you have 1 year experience or 100 years of experience. We all have a story to tell, and people will relate to seeing that. So it's best to have as many voices in this space, in my opinion, contributing in this way, because collectively we grow together. Another example is organizing a networking event. So Anderson, I can't think of his name, out of Atlanta. Not Ryan Anderson.
Larry Anderson.
Who?
Larry Anderson.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Larry. So Larry Anderson organized a recruiting TA local event in Atlanta. He was out of work. He pulled in a lot of great speakers and connectors, and they talk shop, and he's the facilitator for it. As a direct result of that, I know he landed a position. So organizing a networking event and being a casual meetup where people from the industry come together, and by being the facilitator of these interactions, you're positioning yourself as a connector, which strengthens your long-term relationships. And also you learn and can build community in your immediate area. I think this is something that is needed across not only the United States, but other parts of the globe, where if there's not something in your area, don't be afraid, build it. And don't be afraid to start networking. Pay it forward networking is a long game. It's not a short game. So the biggest mistake I see people making is they network while they don't have a job. And then when they get a job, they stop networking. This is not about jobs. This is about, I'm going to say, a lifestyle. But networking can benefit you personally, professionally, and also in your community. And when you can be a purveyor and connector of people, it's amazingly powerful. So in my area, in the greater Chicago area, I started off when I was an agency. I found these listservs back in the day that I used to share my job leads to. And there was a request for people to come be resume reviewers. So what they did is they basically created a format where recruiters or people from an HR background would come and review people's resumes and help give them feedback so they can get their resumes written. Well, long story short, through those relationships and efforts, I was able to place like 10 people over the course of the time when I did it. So networking is a crucial part of life, as far as I'm concerned. So, and Muhammad Ali said, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. So it's better to give than to receive. And it's also when you come up and present on what you know, you learn it that much better, because you have to be able to articulate it into simple terms that everybody can relate to. And it could be a concept that may be vague or that everybody knows what networking is, but do they really? No, they don't. Because the evidence would be in the results of their network and their networking and how they give back. there's many in our community, and I can just list a few names off the top of my head. Steve Levy, Brian Fink, Shannon, that give back to the community, and because they care and they want to help everybody grow. And that's what this is about. So in practice, paying it forward networking builds goodwill, enhances your personal brand as someone who is generous, connected, and trustworthy. And the impact may not be immediate, but it often leads to opportunities in unexpected ways over time. So I've included in the presentation a link to a post I did on LinkedIn that gives you a lot of different strategies that you can try when it comes to networking. And in the comments section, there's a lot of different books and other resources that people have added. And if you have some that you've been aware of, add it into the comments. So this way everybody can benefit from this thread. And it doesn't matter if you're an introvert, an extrovert, if you're shy, if you're outgoing, if you're, left brain, right brain, whatever. The point is start and grow. And again, it's a muscle. So I would recommend reading those books and applying what you learn. And here's how you can get a hold of me if you'd like to connect. And I make time every week to try to help other people in our industry, job seekers and in general. So if you would like to connect, feel free to ping me and I'll make time to chat with you as well.